afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Tuesday. Hope you all had a good holiday weekend.
Did you have a nice Labor Day?
Yeah, you had to work yesterday.
I worked yesterday. It was my holiday to work.
It seems like Monday today, for a lot of people.
I know, a shortened week is going to mess us up.
And back to school.
Big day.
Big day.
Very big day today. And a little later this hour, Shyla Murgain is going to be here. They call this Tough Tuesday because it's the end of summer, the start of school, transition time. She's going to have some good advice for us.
Tough on students and parents.
Oh, yeah. We've had some tears in the newsroom today.
Long faces in the newsroom today.
Jessica Arp's daughter went to kindergarten, and our director Nicole's daughter went to kindergarten today, which is a big step.
Yeah, it really is.
We've been comforting a lot of people this afternoon.
We'll get to all that, but first, here's what's making news on this Tuesday. Historic lake levels in Madison and more threats of flooding to the north. The dangers for rising water continues for a third week.
The hearing for President Trump's choice to be the next Supreme Court justice gets underway with fireworks on Capitol Hill.
And just when we've given up all hope, Judy Garland's red slippers from The Wizard of Oz have been found. How the decade-old mystery was solved.
13 years later.
Unbelievable.
It's an incredible story. Let's take a look outside today. Is it humid enough for you?
Oh, my God. And this is a clear-wing hawk moth, I'm told, right?
Isn't that something? It looks like a small hummingbird.
It's a Hermione. I'm not even going to try saying that. It's also considered a bumblebee mimic. That's according to our friend Phil Pelletieri, our bug expert. They're kind of creepy. Have you ever seen one?
Oh, no, I haven't actually.
Yeah.
I kind of like thinking it was a hummingbird. Let's just leave leave it at that.
But we can't.
No.
Hope on the horizon, however, question mark. Dana Fulton's in the backyard. Hopefully some rain moving out of the area eventually.
Well, that's kind of what we're looking at long term. Right now, we are looking at the chance for some showers just to kind of march in overnight. As you can see right now, though, mostly sunny in Madison, a little breezy outside and thick and soupy. Off to the west, we have quite a bit of rain moving through parts of Iowa and Minnesota, starting to creep right into the edge of Wisconsin. In central and southern Wisconsin right now, we have a few isolated thunderstorms, but overall, nothing too big to talk about for us currently. In the last 24 hours, we've picked up just a little bit more rainfall. Dane County, about a ½ inch to an inch for some isolated areas. A little further south towards parts of Rock and Greene County, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, and then going a little further north, also seeing 1 to 3 inches with the isolated totals a little bit higher. Rainfall amounts going to pick up yet again later on this evening. So try to enjoy the sunshine right now when you can. I know it's hot outside for early September. We're at about 86 in Madison. Dew point's right at 70, so it feels very sticky and warm outside currently. It's going to be a little muggy today. And the same goes for tomorrow, unfortunately. Notice for tomorrow, we do have the chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. High temperature of about 78 for our Wednesday. And then things are going to mellow out just a little bit by the end of the week. That's the horizon. That's the hope line that we're looking for. We'll take a closer look at Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in a few minutes. Right now, let's go ahead and check in and see what's going on the roads. First alert traffic. Overall, things seem to be rolling along fairly smoothly for us. No major incidents to report at this time. That's always a good thing when we keep things just a little more mellow outside. If you are near downtown, the Beltline, of course, slows down a little bit around this time. About 16 miles per hour, 12 eastbound, getting closer to John Nolan Drive. The further west you are on the Beltline, you're still traveling eastbound there, but we're seeing a little higher speed right now. 14's looking okay towards Middleton, slowing down just a little bit at that intersection, about 20 miles per hour. And then downtown, of course, has some flooding concerns, but overall, speeds seem to be going okay. Janesville to the Beltline will take you about 28 minutes. The Beltline back to Janesville, same time. So that's always good. Not seeing a stop on either side. And then Sunbury to downtown about 15 minutes. We'll check in on traffic in just a little bit. And of course, I'm going to break down that rain chance for tomorrow coming up also.
All right, very good. We'll check back in a little bit. Thanks, Dana.
First at 4, as Madison lakes are filled to the brim, the city is preparing for another round of rain this week and looking toward the future.
Mayor Paul Soglin laid out his 2019 capital budget today, but it did not include any changes in light of the recent flooding in our area. Rose Schmidt joins us live to explain from Olin Park on Lake Monona. Rose?
That's right. Lake Monona reached a new historic high this morning, more than 8 inches above the 100-year flood level. Take a look at the latest video from Sky 3. It shows the lake levels have risen steadily over the past 24 hours, but they are expected to stay steady until it rains again. All lakes in Dane County are above summer maximum water levels. Lake Monona and Lake Wabisa are now above their previous historic high levels. At a news conference today, Madison Mayor Paul Soglin said his capital budget was prepared a month ago, before historic flooding hit the area 2 weeks ago.
It will take many months to figure out what our long-term needs are in response to 500-year rains. And then we will obviously have to either amend this year's budget or include changes for the 2020 budget.
Mayor Soglin says lake levels are part of the conversation as well, but they're managed by Dane County, so that's not something that could be included in the city's capital budget. Something you may not know, the lake levels were already high before the historic rainfall 2 weeks ago. And the Land and Water Resources Department says it gets a lot of feedback about how high to keep these lake levels. At News 3 at 5, we'll hear from the director about some of the things they're doing in the weeks ahead. Back to you.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting live for us from Olin Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. As Mark and I were talking about, it was the first day of school in most districts this morning, but not in Montello. And there will be no classes for the rest of the week there due to flooding in the area. Highway 22 is closed, and that is the road that a third of the students in the Montello district use to get to school. Reedsburg is also closing all of its schools tomorrow because of what it calls dangerous conditions due to heavy rains in Sauk County overnight. There is a call for volunteers in Sauk County to fill more sandbags as the Baraboo River continues to rise in that area.
Yes, 7 to 8 inches of rain fell in parts of the county last night, and our Amy Reed is in Reedsburg with the latest. Amy.
Yeah, we're West Main Street. That's the far side of Main Street, the far side of the bridge toward Laval. Last week when we were here, this street, if you can believe it, was completely underwater. Now this is dried out a little bit now, you see, and people here thought that the threat was over. People actually at this house told me that they started taking down their sandbags, but they're building it back up again because they said they woke up today, they heard about that rain in Laval, and they heard that the river is rising again. Sauk County Emergency Management told us that it's going to be worse this time. They told people here that it's going to be about 2 feet higher than when the river crested last week. And the ground is very squishy, very saturated, so that water, when it comes in, it might just sit on top and not really get absorbed much. Now down the road, down Highway 33 here in Laval, they are dealing with some flooding. And now that path, it's going to start in Laval. It'll make its way about 12 hours after it starts flooding in Laval. It'll start in Reedsburg, and then it'll work its way down to Rock Springs, down to North Freedom, and eventually down into Baraboo. So they are, like you said, calling for volunteers, sandbagging along the way, trying to stay ahead of this. And we're going to stay around and see how it goes. Back to you.
All right, Amy Reed reporting live from Reedsburg for us. Thank you.
People along the central Gulf Coast are bracing for the arrival of Gordon. The storm is expected to strengthen to a hurricane and make landfall sometime tonight. In New Orleans, a voluntary evacuation is in effect for those living outside of the city's levee protection system, but the mayor insists that the city is prepared.
Spent the weekend ensuring our infrastructure is ready. I'm confident we've got the pumps and the power we need to get through this.
In Mississippi and Louisiana, people stocked up on supplies at grocery stores. States of emergency are in effect now for Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi, allowing officials to quickly deploy the National Guard and other resources if necessary.
The Monona man accused of a number of campus area assaults last year changes his plea in Dane County Court today. 31-year-old Coleman Chung pleaded not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect for his role in alleged abductions and sexual assaults on the UW campus last fall. Chung faces 9 felony counts in all. He's still being held on $50,000 bond in the Dane County Jail, with a jury trial set to begin in February.
The hearing to confirm President Trump's nominee for the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh, is finally underway after lawmakers on both sides squared off. Mola Lenghi has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Brett Kavanaugh's nomination hearing for the Supreme Court descended into partisan bickering.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman.
Democrats demanded a delay in the hearing over the White House's refusal to release all documents from Kavanaugh's time during the Bush administration.
These documents contain highly confidential advice.
Just common sense says we should have access to thoroughly evaluate this person.
Late Monday, the Senate Judiciary Committee received about 42,000 documents, leaving them little time to review them.
No one could prepare and review 42,000 documents in one evening. We know that, no matter how much coffee you drink.
Inside the chamber, Senate lawmakers also dealt with angry protesters who repeatedly tried to interrupt the day's events.
Judge Kavanaugh is one of the most distinguished judges. Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to have this loudmouth removed.
Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein used her opening remarks to argue the future of abortion rights is at stake.
The president that nominated you has said, I will nominate someone who is anti-choice and pro-gun. And we believe what he said.
But Republicans pushed back.
They don't have substantive points strong enough to derail this nomination.
Over the next few days, Kavanaugh is expected to face questions on a wide range of issues, including affirmative action and executive authority. Republicans would like to have Kavanaugh take the bench by the 1st of October.
Molengi, WISC News 3.
If confirmed, Kavanaugh would replace retired Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy.
There is reaction today to President Trump's new claims against his Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. The president tweeted, 2 long-running Obama-era investigations of 2 very popular Republican congressmen were brought to a well-publicized charge just ahead of the midterms by the Jeff Sessions Justice Department. 2 easy wins now in doubt because there's not enough time. Good job, Jeff. A second tweet added, the Democrats, none of whom voted for Jeff Sessions, must love him now. The reaction from Capitol Hill was swift.
To say that Justice Department ought to punish his enemies and protect his friends goes beyond what any president in my memory has ever said.
That is destructive of our rule of law.
Sessions responded to similar attacks in the past by saying the Justice Department would not be influenced by politics. President Trump has indicated Sessions will stay on through the midterm elections.
The FBI says it has recovered a stolen pair of ruby slippers worn in the Wizard of Oz. Someone took the iconic slippers from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Michigan in 2005. Their disappearance stumped investigators for more than a decade. The slippers were recovered in Minneapolis in August, but authorities are still looking for who is responsible for the theft.
Our hope today is that folks that are watching this, if you know something about the theft, something about where these slippers have been in the last 13 years, that you come forward and you share that with us.
The slippers are one of 4 pair worn by Judy Garland during the 1939 movie. So they're not revealing a lot of details about.
They didn't say where they showed up.
Because they're still trying to find who's responsible for it.
They just appeared.
Yeah.
Is there a little dog running along?
Oh.
Still to come at 4, a new controversy surrounding NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick.
And a new ad from Nike is behind the whole thing.
Nike ignites controversy by featuring Colin Kaepernick in their latest ad campaign. I'm Chris Martinez with how people are voicing support and disapproval on social media.
At Harker
Welcome back. People are burning their Nikes after the brand named former quarterback Colin Kaepernick to a big endorsement deal.
Chris Martinez has details of the controversy and how it is affecting Nike's standing on Wall Street.
Everybody to see. Throwing this in the fire because of Colin Kaepernick is now the face of Nike.
Some lit their Nike shoes on fire, sharing the video on social media.
Sorry, Nike. I've been buying you for the past 20 plus years. Not anymore.
The hashtag boycott Nike trended on Twitter after former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick shared this ad with the caption, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." It's part of Nike's 30th anniversary of its Just Do It campaign, but it's not sitting well with some Nike fans. Susie Burkhardt says you won't find her sporting the swoosh.
I thought about it this morning and last night when I was getting ready to decide what I was going to wear. I chose not to wear it. I'm not wearing any Nike.
Kaepernick became a divisive figure when he began kneeling during the national anthem in 2016, protesting police brutality and racial injustice. He's been unsigned since then and tangled in a lawsuit with the NFL, accusing the league of illegally shutting him out. Juan Ugarte is among fans backing Kaepernick.
I think it's part of the American experience to be able to speak your mind freely. I see it as a respectful way to say how you feel.
Stars including Serena Williams have also come out in support, tweeting, "Especially proud to be a part of the Nike family today." Shares of Nike dropped nearly 3% in trading. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Pasadena, California.
Some Kaepernick supporters have pledged to buy Nike shoes to be donated to homeless shelters.
Well, stocks started September lower as trade worries persist. The Dow Industrials fell 12 points, closing at 25,952. The NASDAQ Composite Index lost 18. The S&P 500 was off almost 5. Our sister publication, Madison Magazine, is sponsoring the perfect brunch event for you this Sunday. It's being held at a brewery.
Rachel Tachi, event director for WISC and Madison Magazine, is here to entice you with what you'll find at Madison Magazine's brewery brunch.
Say that 3 times.
Rachel, good to see you.
Yes,
Tell us about this.
So it is going to be this Sunday. It is a first-time event for Madison Magazine, and we are really excited to be partnering with Vintage Brewing Company. They have 3 locations, but this is the first one in Sauk City, and I might say it's the best one. It is beautiful. It's along the water, and we will be sort of utilizing that outside space on the patio for this event. So guests are going to come, and they're going to get to try a wonderful brunch spread. There will be different stations of food, each one paired with a vintage brewing beer. There's going to be brewery tours, some demos, live music. It's a good time.
So just the Sauk City location, not the Madison location.
Correct.
And it is beautiful. It's right on the river. There's a walk there.
Yeah, it's been open for about a year. I believe that they opened last December, and so we're really excited to get to showcase the chef, who's incredibly talented, but also their beer. So people who buy a ticket will get to try 3 different beers with each of the pairings, and then also a beer mosa, which is beer and champagne and orange juice. Yeah.
What do the tickets cost?
So it's $40, and that does get you into the event. It does get you the full brunch spread. There's going to be omelet stations and Benedict station and all sorts of different delicious things, including croissants, coffee, and then the beer pairings with each station, the beer mosa, the brewery tour, where you can ask a lot of really great questions of the brewmaster, and then the live music and the demo. Yeah.
All right. Well, it's brunch in Wisconsin. It might as well be beer-based.
Right. Brunch is the best, and you have to have a drink with that. And they also have a full bar. So for people who want to get, a Bloody Mary instead, that's an option.
But $40 otherwise is everything's included.
Correct. Yeah.
Now, how do you get tickets? Can you just show up and get a ticket, or do you need to do it online?
Yeah, so you should do it in advance just because of how the events like this work. And we're going to be selling tickets through Friday, and you can go to madisonmagazine.com to purchase tickets.
Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Correct.
All right. Sounds like a great time.
It will be.
The Packer game's not till 7:30 at night, so you're not going to miss that.
Exactly right. No worries there.
Rachel, thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. Good to see you.
Yes.
Well, hookah smoking, a water pipe used to smoke flavored tobacco, has become popular among teenagers and young adults.
But health experts are warning that hookah smoking is just as damaging as smoking cigarettes. We'll have that story from Consumer Reports when Live at 4 continues.
Take a look at this. Fast food took on a new meeting festival in Mexico City. More than 100 cooks from across the country created a giant, nearly 230-foot long sandwich in just under 2.5 minutes. The whole thing weighs 1,900 pounds. They piled on deli meats, tomatoes, onions, avocados, and sauces all came together just under 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Hundreds of delegates and visitors got to share in the sandwich after it was judged. 2.5 minutes.
Now they're putting mozzarella cheese on there. They're not going to try to heat that up, are they?
I don't know.
That looks good.
It does look good. It's Monday, September 4th. It's National Newspaper Carrier Day. On this date in 1833, New York publisher Benjamin Day hired the first paper boy, 10-year-old Blarney Flaherty. Think he's Irish?
Yeah, that's a good trivia question to know his name.
Yeah.
It is also Eat an Extra Dessert Day today, or as Donna Wyhoffen and I always say, eat dessert first. So you can have 2 cookies today, Dana.
Okay, I think that's a fair rule. Guys, it's also National Macadamia Nut Day. Thus the cookies. They are native to Australia and are named after a famous physician and chemist who cultivated the nuts first. Most today are actually grown in Hawaii, and they're grown on trees that resemble large evergreens, and they can get anywhere from 30 to 40 feet high.
So
I didn't know that.
So we have cookies with macadamia nuts in them.
It works.
That's good.
Take in there, they've got to be in there, right?
Somewhere. They're good, though. They're pricey.
Yes, yes. A giant bag of macadamia nuts. I'll just stick to like peanuts and cashews. That's more my style.
Or have a cookie.
They have a cookie after the forecast. I'm going to talk about that first, guys. We do actually have an alert day through the rest of the evening and for tomorrow.
More rain possible.
More rain definitely possible, guys. But the good news, I have a little hope for you on the horizon. We are going to take a closer look at your forecast after the break.
All right.
It is hot and muggy, but we do still have some storm chances through the rest of the evening and for tomorrow. So our focus, of course, the fact we still have an alert day for tonight and for Wednesday. Thunderstorms mainly after midnight for us, so we do have a little bit of a break to enjoy this mostly clear sky, but along with those storms, could see some heavier rain and gusty winds. Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms possible, especially early in the morning and again in the afternoon, and that rain could make the flooding that we already have even worse for us. Well, right now, we just have a few little isolated storms for us in central and southern Wisconsin. Most of the rain is still over through Minnesota and down into Iowa. We're just seeing those little light, heavier rainfall spots for parts of Sauk County. Dane County looks mostly dry at this point, just a few clouds in the sky as well. We do still have that flash flood watch until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. This flood warning goes until 9 o'clock this evening. Nobody else under a watch right now, but that's something we'll be watching, of course, overnight and for Wednesday. There's also a tornado watch to the northwest stretching into Minnesota. With that line of storms continuing to shift east, we'll continue to watch if that watch is expanded or extended at all. Right now, again, it's off to the northwest for us. It is humid and warm outside. It feels thick. We had a warm front just slide right on over. All of that warm, moist air moving in along with it. These storms coming with a cold front off to the west. That cold front is going to continue to shift towards us, driving the storms towards us, and then cooling us down a little bit by the end of the week. That's the good news. So we're looking at a mostly cloudy sky overnight with the chance for some storms coming through early tomorrow morning. That's really when we're expecting the chance for the heaviest rainfall and the strongest wind gusts for us. By the afternoon, another round of storms expected to come in. Could see some light rainfall along with that, but those stronger thunderstorms could bring some very heavy rainfall for us. Cloudy for our Wednesday, and then by Wednesday night, the rain you see shifting east. We see a little cooler air moving in. The shift in the wind direction from the northeast helps our temps drop quite a bit into Thursday morning. And by Thursday and Friday afternoon, it'll be much cooler outside for us, a little clearer also for the end of the week. Rainfall totals by the end of Wednesday, we're in that 1 to 2 inch range yet again as we look ahead to the next about 36 hours. Those showers moving through, bringing us half an inch for some areas, but 1 to 2 likely for most of us. And isolated areas could get a little more when we see the heavier thunderstorms roll through. It's been a little windy for the last 24 hours. We've had our peak wind gusts about 18 miles an hour in Madison and Mineral Point. Currently seeing a sustained wind speed at about 10 coming from the south, though. So again, that warm air continuing to move in. It feels like we're back in early August, even though it's the beginning of September. In the last 24 hours, we've warmed up about 14 degrees in Madison. The cooler air right now is off to the west behind that cold front. We're all warm in front of it, but we are going to cool down as that front continues to shift in our direction. Right now, we're sitting close to 86 in Madison. We are going to stay in the 80s for the next few hours before we finally do cool down just a little bit overnight. A few clouds in the sky, but overall, I definitely need the shades. You're seeing some sunshine out there right now. We had a high of about 86 today. That's where we're sitting currently, 10 degrees above average. A little bit of a jump for us. That humidity close to 60%, so it still feels pretty sticky outside. Overnight breezy with the chance for some thunderstorms moving in early tomorrow morning late. Our temps will be close to 72 to start off the day tomorrow, and then our afternoon highs in the mid-70s with that cloudy sky. Showers and thunderstorms possible throughout the afternoon tomorrow as well before we finally dry up heading into the end of the week. Again, alert day for tonight and for Wednesday. There are those cooler temperatures and a little bit of sunshine. That's our break in the showers, if you will. We have the chance right now for late Friday and into the weekend to see some showers. We'll be keeping an eye on accumulation totals through all of that for the weekend. Then we may see another little break into the start of next week. But the cooler air, definitely a plus for the end of the week for us. We just have to get through the storm chances for us this evening and for tomorrow. Right now, everything is off to the west. Just a few isolated spots in central and southern Wisconsin, but a nice break for the afternoon.
And the weekend could be remnants of Gordon?
Yes. So that's the question mark for the weekend right now. How far up Gordon's going to go? Is it going to stop just south of us? And if it does, then we may not see any rain, or we may only see some light showers. If it does tend to shift a little further north, then we could be talking about quite a bit of rain for the weekend. So those cards still need to come into play over the next few days. We're going to get through the rain tonight and tomorrow, and then watch what the track is going to be for Gordon heading into the weekend.
But Thursday and Friday looking better.
Yes.
Get rid of this humidity.
I know. That's what we need to zap out of here.
Our Costa Rica bureau outside.
Well, for the first day of school, it's always hot and humid. Every year, it seems
No air conditioning in a lot of schools. All right, well, hang in there.
Thank you, Dana.
Yes, of course.
Well, it's one of the latest trends in some bars and restaurants, smoking hookah. It's a water pipe used to smoke shisha and flavored tobacco.
There's a perception that hookah is less harmful than cigarettes, but scientists link it to the same diseases caused by cigarette smoking. Legal Insight and Consumer Reports break down the hookah warnings.
In some areas, hookah is the new social smoking trend in bars and restaurants. Cigarette smoking has significantly declined in the past decade, but the popularity of hookah is increasing. The hookah is a water pipe that uses charcoal to heat shisha, a flavored blend of herbal substances. Some shisha contains tobacco, which has nicotine and can be addictive. Smoke from hookahs can contain carbon monoxide and other toxic chemicals known to increase the risks for smoking-related cancers, heart disease, and lung disease. This trend is attracting more teenagers and young adults. According to a study of NYC middle and high school students, the rate of those students who ever tried hookah went up from 9% to 13% between 2008 and 2014. It more than doubled among Hispanic students, from 7% to almost 18%. But New York City is cracking down with new laws that limit hookah smoking to designated bars and only for people 21 and older.
That's what I'm trying to protect. The 8.5 million New Yorkers to know that the city has the best health policy, and one of those is related to treat hookah as we treat cigarettes.
One perception is that because the smoke passes through water, the vapor is less harmful. The amount of puffs taken during an hour-long hookah session could be about 10 times more when smoking just one cigarette.
If people, they should have more information about what the consequences is for whatever they use. It's about protecting the consumers.
For WISC News 3, this is Leah Lynchide.
And secondhand smoke from hookahs can also be a health risk for non-smokers and their kids.
Another study found the 3 most common places for teenagers to smoke hookah is in their own home, in a friend's home, or another family member's home.
Well, still to come at 4, some 3 million students in California could soon get some extra sleep.
When we come back, a new study shows middle and high school students are not getting enough sleep. So we'll show you how California is adjusting to that when Live at 4 continues.
At her
Here's a look from our sky cam at the Edgewater Hotel. One boat out on the lake.
The whole lake to
Oh,
himself.
here we go.
Oh, no, it
They're
doesn't.
pulling. He's just a little further off the Memorial Union Terrace. California's governor has until the end of the month to decide if he'll sign a bill that would require middle and high schools in the state to start no earlier than 8:30 a.m.
The American Academy of Pediatrics has been pushing for years for an 8:30 a.m. or later start time in U.S. schools to fight what it calls a sleepiness epidemic. Danielle Nottingham reports from Los Angeles.
More than 3 million students in California could soon get some extra shut-eye if California's school start time bill gets signed into law. It would require middle and high schools in the state to start no earlier than 8:30 a.m., giving students more time to sleep. According to the CDC, 60% of middle schoolers and 70% of high schoolers do not get the recommended amount of sleep per night, and that could negatively affect their health and learning.
It can cause poor academic performance, drowsy driving, depression, loneliness, social isolation, addictive behaviors, and weight gain, obesity, and hypertension.
The CDC says children ages 6 through 12 need between 9 and 12 hours of sleep a night, and teenagers need 8 to 10 hours. Sleep experts say children's brains are wired differently, so simply telling them to go to bed earlier is not the solution.
Melatonin gets released later in children, and also the pressure to fall asleep is less, so it's harder for them to fall asleep at night.
The CDC says to improve your children's sleep, make sure they consistently go to bed and wake up at the same time, even on weekends. Keep bedrooms at a cool 65 to 70 degrees, impose a media and electronics curfew, and dim the lighting. Danielle Nottingham, WISC News 3.
Yeah, it's those darn phones that are keeping kids awake. Studies suggest that delaying school start times just 25 minutes can lead to increased academic performance and lower incidences of mood disorders.
I think we should start later, too.
Yeah.
Just sleep in.
This is interesting, though. This is a debate among every parent I know about delaying school.
Well, there's more at 4. Speaking of school, they call this Tough Tuesday the first day back to school.
It can be tough on students and parents, too, so Shyla Murgain to the rescue this afternoon. She'll join us with some timely advice when Live at 4 continues.
Driving home on your Tuesday, not seeing any major accidents to report. So look at 12 and 18 right near John Nolan Drive. A little bit of a slowdown there heading westbound, but overall things seem to be looking okay at this time. No, again, major pinpoints there. Eastbound's at about 24 miles an hour, again, slowing down just a little bit westbound. And if you're heading down John Nolan Drive, about 16 miles per hour right now. Traffic-wise, things seem to be pretty normal throughout the area. Still seeing some road closures downtown on the Isthmus because of some flooding spots. Drive times, if you're heading from Janesville to the Beltline, average speeds about 64 miles an hour. You're traveling at 28 minutes, which isn't too bad. Middleton to Sauk City, about 19 minutes, just a little slower, and then also a little slower if you're heading from downtown to Sun Prairie. It'll take you just about 23 minutes. But we'll keep a closer eye on traffic. I'll have another update for you in just a little bit. Guys?
All right, Dana, thank you. The key to a long-lasting relationship is patience and endurance. That's according to this Japanese couple who've been married for over 80 years. Wow. The pair has been awarded the oldest living married couple by aggregate age by the Guinness Book. They have a combined age of over 208 years. They're happily living in a retirement home in Western Japan. The two got married in 1937, but were too poor to afford a wedding ceremony. Today, they're part of a family of 60 people and recently celebrated the birth of their 25th great-grandchild.
Oh, wouldn't you love to talk to them? The wisdom that they could share.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Well, for most kids, summer is officially over. It's back to school today.
You know, it's these transitions can be really difficult for kids and for parents. The end of summer and back into the regular routine. So how do you navigate all of this? UW Health senior psychologist Shyla Murgain is back with us with some advice. Nice to see you.
Hi, happy start of the school year.
Yeah. It really feels like no matter how old your children are, it is a transition every year to kind of get back into this routine. And you've got some great advice where you start by saying celebrate the start of school rather than dread, you know, everybody's tired, nobody got to bed on time. Prepare to celebrate it, right?
Absolutely. I think kids and parents can have some anxiety, trepidation, even dread about the start of the school year. So I encourage people to really celebrate it. Parents, make a big deal about it. Have a little party. Take your child's picture when they come home from school, or do something fun this weekend to really set the expectation that this year is going to be the best year yet with school.
And you have a thing called Help Them Find Their Why.
Yes, you know, what's going to motivate children to put in the hard work during the school year, to turn off Netflix or that computer game and get to the books? And one way that parents really can do this is to connect it with why, this concept of why put in the time. And when we think about the why, it might be to be a better basketball player, I'm going to put in the hoops. I want to get into a good college. My favorite one is, I just want you, my child, to become the best possible version of you. You're the only one in all the time on the planet, and your goal is to really move in the direction of your potential. So every day in school, learn something new so you can really thrive and flourish, not just now, this year, but in your life.
I love that because that applies for kindergartners and kids going off to college as well.
Absolutely.
Trying to find your why is something that is evergreen.
You know, and when I was in school, kids said, well, I don't need to learn this. I'm never going to use this in my life.
Yeah, and you think about, you might not learn it, but you're going to learn something from the experience of actually learning that's going to help you in your job down the road, or maybe taking those ACTs or taking that first college exam. We're always training. So each day in school, that why really increases the motivation. It's kind of that gift to their future self.
And set goals.
Yes, and in particular with a growth mindset, the biggest thing I see for kids is anxiety about failing. They almost get paralyzed, and then if they make a mistake or have a setback, they kind of collapse and shut down. And what can happen is kids get into this fixed mindset that I only have so much talent and ability or athleticism or even intelligence or beauty, that it's fixed. And then if they make a mistake, it's, you know, it shows everyone I'm not good enough. But instead, we want to have a growth mindset. So when we're setting goals, we're much more interested in the action, not the outcome. So when we think about growth, it's that our potential is unlimited. Who knows? And that's true. Our athleticism, our intelligence, we actually have more abilities. So focus much more on the action, not the outcome. So, okay, I'm going to study really hard tonight, or I'm going to get outside and shoot some hoops or things like that.
And focus on the good. is another piece of advice you have.
Yeah, it's easy to dwell on what didn't go right. So at the end of the day, maybe you're coming together as a family, focus on the new and good. What went right? What did you learn? What do you want to celebrate or feel good about? Because then at the end of the week, kids start to feel like, hey, things went well. Things went my way. Yeah, I had some slip-ups, but there is some things to really feel like, hey, I'm doing okay.
And one thing I hear in common through all this is communication.
Yes.
Talking to your kids, listening to them.
Yeah, I can't say enough about family dinner time. You know, they show that when families get together and just be present, turn off the cell phones, kids do better academically, socially, they stay out of trouble. So, and if you can't do that family dinner time, try to spend a little time, maybe even near bedtime, where you just listen, where you're just present with your kids.
Do you ever think parents need to back off a little bit? I think parents sometimes, especially in our generation, we are so hands-on with our kids. I mean, is the counterbalance of that to kind of just let them experience a little bit and let them fly a little?
Yeah, that kind of helicopter parent of always
guilty
hovering.
As charged.
Yeah,
yes.
and sometimes kids learn the most when they can make choices, when they do make mistakes. You know, they kind of fail and then they pick themselves back up. So we want to really kind of support their resilience.
Yes.
And the best thing you can tell your child is, you got this. You're going to figure this out, versus jumping in right away and problem solving it.
Good advice.
Very good.
Get off to the right foot. Back to school. Shiloh, thanks for being with us.
Great to see you.
Oh, yeah, you too. Thanks for having
See
me.
you soon. And we'll be right back with the final check of your forecast. My, the air is thick. You know it's going to rain some more.
You know it at this point. We do actually have a few little isolated storms right now in central and southern Wisconsin. Most of it is to the northwest currently. But because of that storm chance moving in, we do have an alert day for tonight and again for Wednesday. So that storm chance still lingering into Wednesday morning and again popping up Wednesday afternoon. But notice Thursday and Friday, looks like we're going to get a nice cool little dry break in there before the potential for some showers late Friday into Saturday and Sunday. Right now it is just a chance for Saturday and Sunday. We'll be watching very closely.
Depends if that tropical storm moves up here.
Right. It's all watching Gordon right now and whether or not that moisture is going to move incredibly far north or if it'll die down a little.
Gordon, just stay away.
Yes, we don't
that would be ideal.
All right, Dana, thank
Thanks,
you.
Dana.
Coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, the School Grounds Coffee House in Cottage Grove is getting a lot of attention. We'll check it out in our Tastemaker segment.
And you can't even buy one yet, but Harvey Briggs will give us a sneak peek of the Genesis G70 when we go behind the wheel with Harvey tomorrow on Live at 4.